Good evening and welcome to another video and welcome to the Central Highlands. I thought I'd just go straight in and start off with my plan of action for today, and I'm heading, well, it's not for today, it's for tomorrow. It is sunset just now, although you probably can't tell, it's a bit cloudy. But tomorrow I'm going to have to get up early because I am hoping to go about 25 kilometres in that direction to some of the most remote mountains in Scotland, and I'm going mainly for a feature called the Lancet Edge, and those of you who know Scotland will know exactly what I'm talking about. And I've never done it before actually. I've been up these Munros, but I've never done them via the Lancet Edge, so it's going to be a bit of a trek. It's going to be a long day and it's pretty remote country, so I need to be pretty careful. Weather's not ideal, there might be some snow, there might be some gales, and I might not make it because of those features, but let's see. I'll report back with you guys tomorrow morning. But yeah, I'm actually stood next to the dam. This is probably one of the longest lochs in Scotland. It's a long way down there, and right at the end is one of those remote mountains I was talking about. But I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to head back to the van. I'll bring you back bright and breezy tomorrow morning. Let's go. With a big day ahead of me, I was up nice and early the following morning, and before I knew it, I was all packed up and ready to go and on the bike heading along the side of Loch Ericht. And once I'd got along Loch Ericht, I headed uphill along the side of Loch Patrick and towards the mountains. Good morning. Alright, let me do a bit to camera. I've not really done much this morning in terms of bits to camera. I've done plenty in terms of cycling. I've done 14 kilometres or just under, and about 250 metres of ascent, and I've cycled in along Loch Ericht, which I did look at last night. Apparently it's the 12th, oh god I should remember this, 12th or 13th largest freshwater loch in Scotland, and there's a reason I chose this route today, partly due to that, which I'll tell you. You know what, I'll tell you about that when I get to the top of the first Munro, which is also, what stat can I give you about that? I think it's the 27th highest Munro in Scotland, just below Ben Alder, so it's not Ben Alder we're going to. And the other thing I want to tell you about is I'll be keeping my eyes to the ground for something black and shiny, some treasure. I think I've got a better chance of winning the lottery, but more of that later on as well. For now, I need to go on a wee bit further, and I'll report back when I get to the Bothy, and that's where I'm going to leave my bike. So, more in a wee while. A short cycle later, and I soon had Culra Bothy in my sights, and before long I was approaching this Bothy, which you enter at your own risks, as I will explain in just a minute. Right, I've got to the Bothy. This is Culra Bothy. It's closed but open for emergencies because of it's got asbestos in the roof, and you can use it, you know, at your own risk, but they do suggest you don't use it for staying in. But I'm going to go in because it's cold. Just going to go in for a short while to get my stuff out of my bag here and into my other bag, into my backpack. I can see the Lancet Edge. It's looking fantastic. But yeah, I'll maybe give you a wee tour of the Bothy, because I think they are going to be opening it. I'm sure I read somewhere that it's due to open next year or the year after. I might be wrong, you'll have to research that yourself, but I'll give you a quick tour of it first before getting all my stuff unpacked. So there was signs all over the Bothy, mainly stating that there was asbestos in it and you could use it at your own risk. But yeah, I decided just to pop in for a short period, as you'll see. This is the bit that looks like the front door, but it's actually segregated off. And this is what I thought would be the front door into a big room, but it's actually segregated, and there's two kind of raised beds, bed spaces. Quite a nice wee area. And a window at the back and a window at the front, and places to hang your stuff and all that sort of jazz. So let me just grab this and I'll take you round to the other bits where I was just a minute ago. So you come out of here, and round the side here. It's two. I thought they were toilets actually. Looked like toilets here. And the room on the right here, that's the one I was in. Let's see if this side's open. Lots of shovels. Oh wow, this is a bigger room. Don't know if how good it's going to come out in this camera. Oh wow. Yeah, so this is a bigger room, and you can see up to the left here there's actually somebody using it and staying in it, so I didn't stay in too long, but there is another bothy being planned. I don't know if it's knocking this one down or they're just doing this one up, but it is being planned for 2025. In here. It's the room I was in, small room. Right. Wasn't sure there was somebody there. There was stuff there, but I don't think there was anything in the area. So, right. Let's get going. Let's get up the Lancet Edge. So there seem to be two people staying in the Bothy, and as I said, it does state it's at your own risk. I want to emphasise that. However, I think by the time this video comes out, they may well have started on a new Bothy. I did a wee bit of research, and I believe that either this one's been done up or a new one's been built in the October of 2025, just a few weeks after this video was shot. So enjoy it if you're watching this in the future. Okay, that's me dropped the bike off. A wee bit concerned, there's a slightly soft rear tyre. I think it's got a slow leak, but I do have my wee flexi-tail bike pump and repair kit in case I need it. But yeah, it's looking nice. Ben Alder's lit up. There was snow on the top. I don't know if I said that. That's the other concern. It was snowing overnight in the high tops, but it looks like most of the snow's gone now. It's melted, and the Lancet Edge is looking great. So I'll bring you back. On foot now. It's always nice. And things are going quite nicely at the moment. The sun's out, and the reason I chose this route is paying off as well, but I'll tell you more about that in a moment, because I want to really get over this obstacle first, and I'll show you what it is. And what is this obstacle I'm talking about? Well, hopefully you can make it out. It's the mountain, or more precisely the Lancet's Edge, which is here. And it's a slightly different profile to where I usually see it from. You'll have seen footage further back where it's really conical. It's still really sharp from this direction, but I'll be heading up and then coming off this path with pretty much pathless terrain. Although saying that, I would be surprised if there wasn't a path going up it, because it's quite a defined ridge. But then again, it's not the usual ascent for hill walkers, and I'll come on to that a bit more. But I really want to get up to the top of this, because if it's windy it might be a bit precarious at the top of this, and if I do make it up, I'll report back on the shiny black objects I'm keeping my eyes out for, and also the reason why I chose this route. Right, onwards we go. So I headed on across some streams and onto the pathless terrain, and I must admit I was a little bit apprehensive about what lay ahead in this sharp ridge. I was hoping the wind gusts weren't going to be too bad and those rain showers were going to stay away. I just stopped here. There's a few showers, just light showers. Well, light at the moment, kicking about, and it's getting a wee bit chilly. I'm at about 700 metres. I thought I'd get my a layer on. I've got another 2 layers with me, because it's that time of year where you can get snow, sun, summer, spring, autumn, winter, the 4 seasons. But this is an amazing place. Over here you've got, let me just zip the jack up. Yeah, you've got an unusual angle of Ben Alder actually. This is a long, Lichas maybe, I don't know if you can pronounce it, but that's a scramble as well. I did that with Jerry. I'll put a link to in the description below of that trip. That was amazing. It's a scramble up to the top of Ben Alder. But when you see Ben Alder from down Loch Ericht, it just looks like this big flat-topped plateaus with these shoulders coming down. But from here you can't see that. It's just very rugged. And we're quite remote here, as I said. It's probably one of the most remote spots in Scotland, certainly in central Scotland, and I always think that makes things a little bit more special. Don't know why, that it does. Let me know if you feel that as well. Just if it takes a lot of effort to get to and you know you're far away from the closest roads. I don't know, it just makes me feel, I don't know, it goes up in my estimations. I don't know, right. Time to get scrambling. Right. Hope this rain passes over. It's kind of sleety actually. Anyway, right, let's go. Okay, I thought I'd just do a quick bit to camera. I'm out of breath. It's very steep. There's a few little scrambly sections, but the main reason I was stopping is there was a shower that fed through. Don't know if you can see, if the camera's picking up, the wee burn down there, or river, and the light's glinting off it. Sometimes you've got to go through the pain and the rain to get a good shot, and I think I got some nice light where the light was just coming through the shower cloud, and the sleet and the snow was, you know, coming down in sheets behind on Ben Alder. I'll put the pictures up now if they've come out any good. Otherwise you'll never be seeing this bit. But yeah, it's a good shot, a good reason just to stop, take it all in. It's beautiful. Let me just spin you around and show you where I'm going. You see, it's very steep. And you can see where I've come from, miles and miles and miles and miles away. So right, I'll bring you back when I get up to the interesting part of this. The Knife Edge Ridge at the top. What a place. I headed up, and as it got steeper, the scrambling also started. You can sort of choose different routes and make it as easy or as hard as you like. And some of these bits I went up here, it could be bypassed on steep grassy slopes, but where's the fun in that? So I did a wee bit of scrambling, heading towards the airy ridge of the Lancet's Edge. The ridge got steeper, and as you get towards the top of it, it does narrow quite considerably. The 360 camera, as always, skews the footage, and I do know that, but I needed my hands for obvious reasons, and these cameras are great to give you the ability to do that. Anyway, it was just a lovely, lovely spot, and it was clear at this point as well. It's a fantastic ridge and quite a remote location as well. Right, I'm at the summit of the first peak. Oh god, what's it called? This is the Lancet's Edge, and let me just check my map. I know the first one's Geocairn. Scrambling is the summit, and this is 1,010 metres. But the first one goes a bit further on, Geocairn. As I said, it's 1,132 metres. But yeah, I just can't seem to get my temperature right. Too warm and I'm too cold, and when the wind picks up I'm cold again, so yeah, but it's lovely. That ridge, the Lancet's Edge, lived up to its expectations. It was lovely. Nothing too difficult, but there had been a wee, as I said, there'd been a few showers, so the rock was a bit slippy, which made it a little bit more sporting, and care, a little bit more care was required. But yeah, it's lovely. You can see over here, this, I don't know if you can make out the peak over here. That's my third peak and final, second in a row before dropping back down, but gotta go this way first. This way first, up to this rounded lump here, which is the Monroe called Geocairn, as I said. And when I get to the top of that one, I'll tell you a bit about the route choice and the shiny objects. I'm getting cold now as well. I think there's a few showers kicking about, but yeah, let's move on a wee bit further, and I'll explain all at the top of the first Monroe. Yeah, it's the wind chill that's affecting me. Oh yeah. When there's no wind, it's actually quite pleasant. Wouldn't that be a nice thing? I don't know if you can see from the camera angle I've set it. It's a classic one of these hills where the top's kind of rounded, but it drops way down into the quarry. Classic, I suppose, glaciated landscape, or glaciated, or what have you, a big scoured quarry and a big loching down there. It's beautiful. Oh, it's clearing to the west now. That's lovely. I can see over to, I can see down Loch Ossian, and I think that's the hills of Glencoe beyond. Beautiful. Right, sharp Murray. Let's get to Gilcarn, the highest point of the day. Right, let's go. So Gilcarn was next, which means the White Hill, I think, and that was quite appropriate because as you're about to see, the white stuff started to come out of the skies from above as I headed up this high point. But I was also looking for some black stuff at my feet. More about that in just a minute as I reach the summit of Gilcarn. Oh wee! Summit of Gilcarn. Oh! Even get out the window a wee bit down here. Not really. But you can see I've donned the old ski goggles because it's windy as heck. And first snow of the season. Well, first snow that I've seen. I think it's the first snow forecast actually for the Scottish Hills. We're in September at the moment, so goodness only knows when I'll get this released. You know, these things take me ages to edit. But anyway, what was I talking about when I said I was keeping my eyes peeled for little black stones? So I wasn't aware of this until last night. Well, I was aware of it. I was aware that a meteor, way back in July, came crashing into the orbit, and it was captured on, I don't know, people's dash cams and ring doorbells and things like that. But anyway, there was a message went out in the news from a UK group. I think they're called UK, I don't know, Fireball. I don't know. I want to say Fireballs, but that just doesn't doesn't sound right. I do apologise if that's not the name. Anyway, there was a bit of a hoo-ha, not a hoo-ha, but a lot of interest, shall we say, that they were suggesting that this meteor or fireball had crashed somewhere in the vicinity of Ben Alder. So I didn't think that these hills were actually part of it, but I was looking on, I don't know, a web page last night, and this is actually part of the search area for the meteors, or the remnants of meteor rocks. meteor rocks? Am I saying that wrong? Anyway, I haven't found any. Apparently they're black and shiny and they could be a bit rusty because they contain a lot of iron and might be worth something perhaps to the museums and stuff like that. So in all seriousness, if you are out in this area, I think it's between here and kind of Loch Treig. If you see any sort of unusual shiny black rocks, give Google a search. Must be like looking for a needle in a haystack though, I must be honest. Anyway, right. This is the highest point of the day, but I've got another Munro to go to, and when I'm there I shall explain the choice of route that I took today and why I came up this way. I tell you what, it's blowing a hoolie. Oh, here comes the sunshine. It was lovely actually down on the other top. I actually felt quite warm, very summer-like, but it just shows you how quickly the weather can change. It's very, very wintry now. In fact, as I said, there was snow and all that jazz. So anyway, let's go. The views are fantastic. Bring you back later. Whoa. No idea if you'll hear me or not, but I came over here just to show you. This is a beautiful ridge walk. You can come right along here. I'm going over to Culra, which is the first Munro, but there's another 2 Munros beyond this one. I think it's Ben Even and Annabeg or Annabeg or something like that. And you can see it's clear now. Beautiful. Anyway, just thought I'd show you that. Let's go. As you can see, and as expected, up on this high flat-topped hill, the wind was whistling around, so I was keen to drop down, and the skies cleared as I headed towards Cairngerag. The red rocky peak, I think it means. Oh, right. Going to stop here for a bite to eat because I am starving. I'm getting to the point where I'm shaky. Shaky. That's not good, so I've got a couple of Scotch eggs. Surprise, surprise. And yeah, some wine gums, so when I get them down with here, the Munro is behind me. I don't know if you can see it or not, but anyway, let's get going. Whilst I was stopped having my well needed Scotch egg and sugar intake from the wine gums, it didn't take too long for the next snow shower to roll in, and you can see it here, and this impressive waterfall going up the side of Culra as well. It was lovely. But anyway, time doesn't hang around, and I soon headed off and needed to get to the summit in the rain. But again, as they say in Scotland, just wait 5 minutes and the weather will change. And as I was approaching the summit, that shower cleared through and the skies cleared just in time to give me some fantastic summit views from the final summit, Cairngerarg. Oh, a wee bit of sunshine, that's nice. Ah, yes. Ah, yes. So, summit number 3 for the day. Oh my god, I'm feeling tired, I'll tell you that much. But what a viewpoint this is. I'll maybe bring you back up here and show you what I can see. Wonderful views. So let me just spin you around and I'll show you what I can see. So way, in fact, I don't know if you can see it. Down there is the Bothy actually. So, and then away beyond this this is the Fara, this hill here. I'll talk a bit about that then. My van's away about 30 kilometres away, and the Cairngorms around here. But looking back this way, that's Ben of Oil there, and Ben Alder, this big lump in the middle there, and then these are the hills I've just been up. So I don't think you can quite make it out. That's the top of the Lancet Edge there, and then the Culra there. And Culra does look, it does mimic Ben Alder actually, unsurprisingly really. And, yeah, and these hills behind me are the ones round about Ardrecky. Oh, I can't remember what they're called, Craig Petre, and I think there's another Culra there. Anyway, I am feeling it. Let me just sit down here, I'll bring you back and tell you why I chose this route. I can see Schiehallion as well. It's nice to have a seat. Right, let's go. I'm absolutely knackered, and I've still got loads of miles to do before I get home. I don't know, I think it's about 16 or 17 kilometres on the bike. I might be wrong, there'll be stats at the end. Anyway, why did I choose this group of hills to do today? Well, it's all to do with the wind direction. And once I was up here on this sort of plateau-like tableland, I knew it didn't really matter which way the wind was blowing. There's not much shelter from it when you get up here. But because there's such a long walk-in or cycle-in, I wanted to try and be in the shelter, and the loch that I came along, Loch Ericht, runs northeast to southwest or vice versa, and usually that's the prevailing wind direction, southwest, so it can really funnel up. In fact, I've got a story being on my hands and knees and Ben Voyle crawling along a part where the wind was funneling up. But anyway, it's coming from the north, so the hills that I'm on just now and the hills further down have been giving it a lot of shelter, and that was the case when I was cycling in. And even after I dropped the bike at the Bothy, the walk-in to the Lancet's Edge was well sheltered as well. It's really just since I've got up onto the tops here, but yeah, it's wonderful. So I'm going to put you away again. I'm going to get going because there's another, it looks like there's another shower rolling in, and it's quite a steep drop down to the Bothy now, so I'm going to do that, and I'll maybe bring you back when I'm down at the bike. Hopefully the tyre isn't completely flat, otherwise it's going to be a late finish. Oh my goodness, this doesn't even bear thinking about. Right, let's get going. With the cloud clearing, my legs needing a wee bit extra rest, I spent a wee bit more time at the summit taking in these magnificent views. Right, it was pretty toasty coming down there. Again, there's no wind here at all, so this is on the sheltered side of the hill, so let's like wipe it, a bit of moisture on the land. Yeah, on the shelter side, so yeah, another reason why this has worked well to date. Feels like summer again. Had to de-layer. Anyway, a wee story for you. I'm just above the Bothy, maybe about 100 metres away, and I've been on this northern hillside of the Bothy once before, not on this path, and I'm just very careful where I put my feet, because many moons ago, when I came to do these hills for the first time, myself and my pal Kev, in fact Kevin was on a recent video when we went up Culra and Arran, but anyway, me and Kev, late teenagers, early 20s, young men anyway, we walked all the way in because we didn't have bikes, and we camped outside Culra, and then I think we went on to do, well we went on to do Ben Older and Ben Boyle, and that's when we were crawling on our hands and knees. But anyway, nature called when I got out of the tent in the morning and I went and got a shovel. There wasn't much wind when we left in the morning, and I tell you what, let's just say there was midges, bear skin and a shovel, and yeah, I don't know if my mission was fulfilled because of the midges, if memory serves me right. Anyway, there's an image not to linger on. Let's get to the Bothy. Not far away now. Just about there. Check this tyre first. Hopefully I'll get me back home. Right, let's go and get my bag sorted. So I was actually going to go back into the other room, the big room, and I looked in here, but there was still quite a lot of kit up there, and yeah, I thought if anybody came back, I just wanted to leave them to themselves. So this, for a short period of time, headed back into the room that I'd been in before, and did a wee bit to camera. Okay. Oh, right, I'm not going to spend long in here because of obvious reasons, but it's just nice to get out of the wind. I'm going to put the poles away now. A quick tip, I find it quite useful anyway, is I've brought my pannier rack, and the reason for that is it just takes the weight off my shoulders when I'm when I'm cycling. I've got it on my shoulders for the rest of the day, so I just find having the pannier rack really good. I put as much of the heavy kit in there as I can, and then the bike's doing the work. Well, hopefully the bike's doing the work if the tyre pumps up. Anyway, I think I'll just do a synopsis here of what I thought of today. I think I chose the right route. There is something special about these hills. We're not far away from the Cairngorms. Well, stating the obvious, we're in the central Highlands, so we're between east and west. In this area, there's a vast area of land between sort of Dalwhinnie, where I've come from today, and right along to Fort William, really, where there's no real tarred roads. There's loads of estate tracks, and these glens were filled with people a few hundred years ago. So I'm a bit wary about using the word wilderness or remote, but you're far away from roads and civilization for the main part. And there's something special about that. And these hills are big, massive, wild feeling, rugged areas. And yeah, not to be messed with. Probably just as remote as some of the big tracks like Knoydart and places like that out in the west. But right here in the central Highlands, so special place. Didn't find any shooting stars, and it was nice to see some snow as again, this could be out in the winter when there's been loads of snow, but certainly now in September it's the first snow I've seen this year. So I'm going to shut up. I don't think there's any, I don't think you'll be that bothered to see me cycling or struggling. You might be bothered to see me struggling if I can't pump up the tyre, but failing any catastrophes, I'm going to end the video here. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there. I'll see you next week for another adventure. Right. Time to cycle the 17 kilometres back to the van. Oh. So just a wee update, I did have to pump up my rear tyre a couple of times. I've got one of these little flex tail micro pumps or mini pumps, and it worked quite well. I do have tubeless tyres, but it's evident that I need to refill the tyres with some sealant. I think that's what the issue was, but anyway, it was a lovely old cycle back. And one thing else I was going to mention, the Farah, and all I was going to say was that the last time I was in the area, I camped on top of the Farah on a 3-day or a 4-day through hike from Lagan right through, and the first night I'd stayed in a camp. I'll put the link in the description below. Anyway, here's the stats. Here's the cycle in stats. I've then got the hiking stats, then the cycle out stats, and then the total stats, just for those of you who like to have statistics. But anyway, thanks for watching. See you next week.